In progress.
And we are
And
back with
we are
another
back with
episode of
another
the Wrasslin
episode of the
Roundtable podcast, talking all things in the realm, the weird, the wild, and the most of the time ridiculous world of professional wrestling. We're just a few days, as we record this, we're just a few days before Night of Champions, the finals of the King and the Queen of the Ring tournament. And we've got a lot to go over around that. As always, I'm Ryan Hall. I got Dominique LaRue joining us as
joining us
always.
as always. And
I wanted to start a little bit different this week. Paul interviewed on the Fleet YouTube channel, which, if you're not familiar with him, he has tons of big time WWE and wrestling stars. Like he did an interview just this week that just went up today, as we record this, with Big E, which I'm definitely looking forward to watching. He's had LA Knight, he's had a lot of people just in this past week. But the comments that Paul Heyman made on that podcast were quite fascinating.
Yes, they were very fascinating. It was a lot of insight on. First of all, welcome, my brother. How are you?
As always.
And I like to stay in. I like to stay within the time. This week there's a movie coming out tomorrow. As you can see my shirt here. You know, I believe Supergirl comes out tomorrow. So I just wanted to put that out there for a free advertisement to DC and whoever else. James Gunn, holla at us for free advertisement here. But Paul Heyman, as wonderful as a promoter he is, and a Hall of Famer as he is, it was a lot of very nice insight on his mind and behind the scenes on certain things and one particular thing that I know you and I haven't touched on. I came across a comment of the origin of the tribal chief, and I didn't think that. It just shows how brilliant, how magnificent Paul Heyman's mind is of thinking of things. Because we literally did see Roman grow up within the business, and like
Yeah.
obviously, if you haven't followed him from FCW, which I haven't, but if you haven't followed him from FCW to immediately to the main roster, I mean, my introduction to Roman was from the Shield when he first debuted, and then from the Shield on to the Big Dog, and Big Dog to everybody poo pooing on him, and leukemia, and then boom, he comes back, and for him to not only just come back, but for him to come back, and he's sitting there, and he says the most infamous words, and I remember this to this day, where he said, "That's just not a, uh, that's just not a prediction. It's a spoiler." And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's Paul Heyman's." And as soon as that was processing in my mind, the camera pans over to Paul Heyman, and it's like, "Oh my
Sitting on
god!"
the couch
Like,
next to him, yeah.
yes, oh my god! Like I can't believe this is happening right. Like Paul Heyman is Brock Lesnar. Like you was feuding with Brock Lesnar for all these years, and then now you're siding with him. So you're a Paul Heyman guy. But then to flip that, right? And he's not a Paul Heyman guy. He's the wise man. What is this? Like, they flipped everything on our heads and made it seem like, I mean, it made which this should have been done the right way with John Cena. If you're gonna turn John Cena heel, you need to do this like out of the ordinary. Because when we see Roman Reigns, he comes back, we thinking he's still the big dog. We still thinking he's a babyface or whatever the case may be. So
Right.
that was a nice insight of like how Paul Heyman came up with it, the process of like us growing up with Roman and like kind of evolving with him, and then um really seeing him go through crap to the point where he's just like, I'm done with the crap. I'm finna give it back, right? One particular insight that I did see about Paul Heyman, and I thank God Paul Heyman did this. So back to the whole tribal chief thing. Oh, great old man Vince McMahon. When they was having that discussion about Roman turning heel, and he wanted a heel big dog. Something about Vince McMahon and dogs. I don't understand. But thank God for Paul Heyman convincing Vince not to do that because that would have
Yeah.
been absolute crap.
You're absolutely God. Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the things that jumped out of me in that entire interview was um, Paul Heyman. He might have been awful with money as a promoter. He was awful with money. Let's be real. But as a creative mind in this business, there are few who can hold a pencil to this man because the wrestling business is rarely as simple as good guy versus bad guy. Like you have elements in Roman Reigns is a great example of this. You have elements of him who is, who is about as heel as you can get. But you also have a guy who's charismatic as hell, who, and I've said this time and time and time again on this podcast. As soon as he walks through that curtain, every eyeball in that stadium is on him. Every eyeball watching on TV is on him. Every camera is on him. He is the most magnetic person in the room. And if he had got, like, if Paul had kept pushing that heel big dog character, it would have landed like the Hindenburg. Like it would have blown up like the Hindenburg because it would like the tribal chief, I feel like, is able to play upon Roman Reigns' natural charisma, which is not a bigger, he's like his natural charisma is not like a Hulk Hogan, like playing to the back, playing to the back row. His charisma is like he knows he's the baddest man in the room. He knows he's the most magnetic man in the room, and everybody falls into his orbit. And I feel like that move, that suggestion that Paul Heyman made to move to kind of shift his character into that tribal chief, head of the table, kind of thing. Not only did it save him during the pandemic era, but Lord knows how many millions of dollars that has made that company in the past 5, 6 years.
I think I seen an interesting I think it was the interview with the Usos, and they was like, why does the tribal chief persona work so well with Roman?" And they hit the nail on the they hit the nail in the coffin or nail on the head. Um, they said that it's not really it's Joe is Joe all day long. Like that's his personality with the sweatpants and the t-shirt, the Jordans, and just walking into the room, confident of himself, aware of himself, and that's true. I mean, like if you could think about any characters that we could think of, like in the past, what made the Undertaker's American Badass character so well? Because it's Mark Calloway through and
Yeah.
through, riding motorcycles, Texas guy.
Yeah.
He just took the character that he played and flipped it and like showed us the human side of the Undertaker.
Yep.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's that's him through and through. I mean, like he may not sit there and just be bashing beers over his face or whatever the case may be, or
Right.
like truly cussing his manager out. But I mean, that's everybody's dream of being. Like I wish I could whoop my manager's butt whenever he pisses me off.
Right.
You know, The Rock, right? Dwayne Johnson. Um, Outside of The Rock, he may be different, but at the same time, that's part of him. That's that I remember he said it in his interview back in the day where, he went to the University of Miami. And what about The Rock's character doesn't say he's from Miami? That's all Miami. The Versace vests, the necklaces, the sunglasses, and indoors. Like everything about his character was Miami through and through.
Yep.
So why not the tribal chief? Why would we ever think that it wouldn't work? And then on top of that, not only does it work, it makes sense because of the fact of it's dealing with their actual bloodline and
Dealing with their actual family.
family. Yes. So and then not only working with the family, it elevated the family. Like look. Yes, the Usos were one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. But not only are the greatest tag teams in WWE history, they are household names. Like they are far beyond just a tag team. They're Jimmy Uso and Jay Uso, and then look at how Jay became like a bona fide Hall of Famer now.
Yeah.
Like you cannot sit here and say he's not going to be a Hall of Famer in the future outside of just Usos.
I think it was Dusty Rhodes who, and I don't remember the exact quote, so people in the comments don't flame me on this, but I think it was him that was talking about this, who mentioned that the best wrestling characters are just the performer's natural personality turned up to 11. Dusty is a prime example of that. Dusty Rhodes is a good old boy. Virgil Runnels is a good old boy from Texas, son of a plumber. All of those things are true, but that was just his energy turned up to 11. Ric Flair is another example of that. Ric Flair kind of took it to the extreme, but that was just his natural personality turned up to 11. So many of the all-time greats, their natural personality turned up to 11 is what makes them great. And that, I think, is what Paul Heyman saw in Joe Anoa'i with that Roman Reigns character and kind of the evolution of that Roman Reigns character. Because if you remember, and I'm speaking more to the audience here, but if you remember how badly the audience hated Roman Reigns about 10 to 12 years ago, like booed that man out of the building, was throwing drink. I mean, just hated this guy because he was kind of Vince McMahon's chosen one, right? Handsome, charismatic, great physique, the whole nine. But he had no character, and they hated that. Even The Rock is another great example of this. Because when Rocky Maivia came up, he's wearing the streamers and just the ridiculous, just ridiculous. But when they let him wear the silk shirts, when they let him start raising his eyebrow and doing catchphrases, that's when he took off. So that I think is what still makes Paul Heyman one of the great wrestling minds of all time, is that he sees the natural talent that these people have. He sees the natural um he sees the natural talent and natural presence that these people have and helps them turn it to 11.
Yeah. And To be honest, that's what makes a great character when you feel like you can be who you are outside of that character and showcase that particular side of you because it's comfortable to you. You don't have to sit here and act like something you're not. Like I'm trying to remember the character. I'm trying to remember the person who said like outside of them being the character on TV that's not real. Rhea Ripley. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, when you meet Rhea, she's nothing like that particular character that she is on TV. And but it works because it brings out that side. Like she has that side it's in her, but it's
Yeah,
not. It's dormant. She can't really be like that. You know, outside.
that's a
But
very interesting point. But yeah,
I'm saying processing all the things that Paul Heyman said. I'm trying to think of another one particular. Oh, about I like hearing things about Brock Lesnar. This whole time I thought Brock Lesnar was a snob. I thought he was a hole. I thought he didn't really respect the business like that or whatever the case may be. He just doing it for a check or whatever because he knew he was the baddest guy in the world. And, Vince McMahon loves guys like him, like body
hmm
built wise. But just to hear him be the awesome guy that he is, the respect that he gets from many of the people backstage is pretty awesome.
yeah, no, the comments that Paul Heyman made about, and if you haven't seen this interview, we highly recommend it. Like, it's a long video. It's like over an hour video. But there's just so much goodness, so much gold packed into this video. We can't recommend it enough. But the thing, just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, is that the thing that really stood out to me about that was that Paul Heyman was originally supposed to work with and manage Chris Benoit. And he had the personal connection with Brock Lesnar for this whole time.
Mhm.
And Brock Lesnar was in the developmental, was Ohio Valley, I think is what it was back in those days. Um, and was getting frustrated. Like either bring
Yeah.
me up to the main roster or let me go. And he ended up shifting, Paul did. He ended up shifting from Benoit to Brock Lesnar. He ended up kind of producing his matches, working with him and then eventually working with him on TV. Paul, and I forget the exact thing that he said was Chris asked him if he thought that Brock Lesnar would have the same level of success without Paul Heyman. And Paul was like, Brock Lesnar would have been massively successful no matter who he worked with. But I feel like he feels like his relationship and his connection on TV with Paul Heyman is what helped to put him over the top to become the star that he became. He would have still been a star, don't get me wrong. And this is Ryan talking, this is not Paul talking. But he still would have been a star, but maybe not to the level of who he has become over the past 20 plus years.
Yeah. And when you was talking about that, I was thinking to myself about it's funny that Paul Heyman almost worked with Chris Benoit, and like think about the trajectory of what would have happened if that would have happened. Like maybe we wouldn't have got a Brock Lesnar, the next big thing, King of the Ring, blah 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 blah. Uh,
Right.
and what if Chris Benoit was working with Paul Heyman instead? Would you know the god awful thing that happened happen? You know, would would have what would have like maybe Paul Heyman might have pulled him off the ledge, you know, or something like that. So it's like it makes you go back like the butterfly effect. What if that was a pivotal moment in people's lives? Like it would have worked out differently if that would have happened. But in life, you can't sit there and think about the past because you'll never,
Yeah, yeah.
you'll go insane basically trying to do that. So,
Yeah, no, the present moment is the only thing that we can really, that we can really kind of work with. But
right.
but yeah, no, that like I really feel like that if um and just in retrospect, I know a lot of Chris Benoit's issues um were because he took Eddie Guerrero's death so very hard.
Yeah.
Like that was his brother, you know,
Yeah.
full stop. That was his brother. And he took Eddie Guerrero's death incredibly hard.
Incredibly hard.
And but
But
maybe it could be
maybe it could
different,
be
but
different, but
hindsight,
hindsight.
you know, hindsight is what it is.
Yeah, gotta push forward. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, one of the biggest things we're pushing forward to is we're 2 days away from Triple H's favorite word, an epic night of a show.
What was it like? What was his latest that he mentioned? Like, what was the latest? Like, he said a unique moment in time.
It, uh,
What the hell does that even mean? A unique
a unique
moment in time.
a unique moment in time where we're probably going to look back and be like, "What the hell is this?" Hopefully, what the hell is this? And they finally get things right, or hopefully, a night of time, a unique time where we like, why the hell did they even book that? And case in point, I feel like you can agree with me on this, but why in the hell would you have a tournament to crown a queen of the ring who gets the opportunity to pick the champion of their choice? Champion of their choice, by the way,
Yeah.
to fight at SummerSlam for a title opportunity. And yet one of the champions that is being picked is in the tournament, in the finals of that matter. Who in the rabbity ASS mind thought that was a good idea to not only put the champion in the tournament, but to have them advance all the way to the final? Ryan, I'm not a betting man, but if I was a betting man, I feel as though in in a world that makes sense to us, that Liv Morgan does not
Which
win,
wrestling rarely does.
and Io Sky goes on to fight Rhea at SummerSlam. That has money written all over it. That has story written all over it. But you're fine. In a world where chaos is very active, which I mean, we're pretty much living in in that now. I mean, this is the matrix that we're living in. But in a world where Liv Morgan has a potential to win, and if she does, could you even draw out anything that makes sense with it?
Well, other than the fact that Liv Morgan is one of the biggest stars in the division, absolutely not. Because there is that there is no purpose. There's no point of having the champion of your division going into a match where she can get a title shot against another champion. Unless they want to do something completely stupid, blow up the division and make her a double champion, not even my wrestling logic brain can make sense of that. Not even my twisted logic brain can make sense of that. Maybe it's the most obvious answer that Io Sky wins that match on Saturday. You and I both think she does, but just for argument's sake, maybe it's the most obvious answer, but at the same time, yeah, what the hell am I even talking about? It makes no sense, and it never will make sense.
It won't. It will never make sense because, like, trying not to crash out. I'm not trying to get. Uh,
Relax, breathe, breathe, and in with the good air, out with the bad.
in a calm demeanor. It doesn't make any sense for the champion to be in a tournament for people that are trying to be champion, people that are trying to get a title opportunity that is not given to them whatsoever. Case in point, the John Cena tournament. The reason why he had that tournament was to showcase the talent of the future and even talent that is now and give them a platform to uh you know be seen
Yeah,
in a national light. So with that being said, why is it that in a you know okay, in sports terms, I get it. Like college basketball, right? You got the champion, the defending champion going in, defending their title and trying to win another. But this is different. This is a champion that's holding and retaining that title and is being picked if somebody else wins. So it makes no sense for you to go in there in the tournament and win, and then you go fight the other champion. That's still taking an opportunity from somebody else. And what have everybody in the IWC have been complaining about? Like, why is these women not getting uh, the opportunities that they deserve? Why are talent like a Obafemi, like a Trick, like this person, not getting the opportunities because you keep trying to suck out as much money you can as you possibly can on your breadwinners? And I get it, Liv is a breadwinner, but you have other women that can do the same thing and be the same thing as Liv if you give them the opportunity to be that. So I just don't get it.
but you had an obvious opportunity. You had an obvious opportunity to have a woman who calls herself the queen take this. Why, oh, why did you not have Charlotte Flair go over in that match? Nobody can make sense of that.
None. I mean, she's been calling herself the queen for what, 10 plus years?
Yeah,
And this was the perfect opportunity to finally just like put a stamp on that. And you don't do it. And that's the biggest thing that pisses me off besides Liv being in the tournament. Like you had a perfect opportunity to give the Queen, Charlotte Flair, the title of Queen. It's just like Cody running around here calling himself quarterback one, and obviously he's not. Like he's not by a long shot. When you got
Yeah.
like freaking, it's not even and no disrespect to Cody because he is quarterback two, but quarterback one, no. And that's just like when the Rock and Stone Cold was going back and forth, back and forth. You had one A and one B, and clearly Stone Cold was A, but it was a small edge because the Rock had gained ground on Stone Cold while Stone Cold had left.
Hmm.
Roman leaves for a year. Well, Roman leaves, excuse me, Roman leaves for 2 years, 2 years, right? And nobody, not even Cody, as much as like I don't want to disrespect Cody. Cody was doing this thing while he was undisputed champion, but it just didn't hit the same as when a Roman shows up. You and I have discussed this many a times. When Roman shows up to a show, the energy shifts. The landscape of WWE changes. When he showed up to SummerSlam that one year where Cody was fighting solo, that arena like to erupted. I
Blew
could see the
completely up.
camera shaking because people had like, shout out to Michael Cole because he always makes things amplified. But when Roman came, here's Michael Cole. He's here. He's here. The OTC, the tribal chief, blah blah blah. Like the energy shifted. That's like a Stone Cold glass break. That's like a rock. If you smell, that's like Goldberg's, you know, or even Undertaker dong.
Yep.
So I just as beat off as I am about the women, right? I am on the total opposite of ends of excited for the men's King of the Ring.
Yep.
I am so ready. And I know IWC is going to hate me when I say this, but the only thing that makes absolute sense, right, is that Jey Uso go over and be King of the Ring. Now, obviously, Obafemi has all the opportunities in the world to be King of the Ring, and it would make sense. But with that being said, you have so much story with Jay being King of the Ring, and then on top of that, we still got Brock Lesnar in the background.
Yep.
Obafemi and Brock got to finish it off at SummerSlam. That's one of the biggest. Hell, their match made Clash in wherever Paris or Italy, wherever the world it was, one of the biggest matches on the card. It was neck and neck with
Yeah.
Roman's match. So
Yep.
if not bigger than Roman's match.
That there's definitely some actual juice behind this King of the Ring match. The obvious move, in my opinion, is to put it on Jey Uso and have Brock Lesnar cost Obafemi. But I've been hearing some speculation online in the IWC. Take that for a giant grain of salt. But I've been hearing some speculation from the IWC about possibly having Oba win that match and main event both nights of SummerSlam. Night one against Brock, and then night two against Cody or Roman.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Yeah. I don't see that happening. And I see that's probably the only way that we don't get, and I don't even think it's going to be definitive. I don't even think I don't even think Jay winning that match, I don't think it's going to be a definitive win. I think there's going to be a lot of, a lot of shenanigans. There's going to be a lot of just there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, but it just makes too much sense.
Yeah. It does. I mean, like outside of Randy Orton potentially coming back and maybe costing Cody the title, or even maybe getting involved in that triple threat to remind Cody that he has unfinished business with him. Um, I'm trying to process some thoughts. Jay makes all the right sense because of the fact of the whole other side of the table aspect of it all. And then I feel like Jay goes on to SummerSlam to fight Cody, and he doesn't win because he gets interfered by maybe Solo, or not just only Solo. What if Solo is like, "Oh no, Roman, we ain't finna do this. You ain't the only." With that ideal of Roman being on one side of the table and another person being on the other side of the table, what if that other side of the table belongs to a particular person that you and I have always discussed on the show? You sometimes calls him Pebble. What if that other side of the table, this gentleman is the one in Solo's ear telling him what to do and letting the tribal chief know that his time as tribal chief is coming to an end.
Because apparently the MFTs are no more. Solo needs something to do.
Yep.
Solo has been very quiet lately. Solo has been very calculating lately.
Oh, I mean, besides, yeah, I know you say quiet, but besides Monday night throat when he thumb throat his brother, but
Relatively quiet up until now.
right.
Yeah, no, I want to see that. I definitely want to see that. I definitely want to see the like kind of the factions of it. And I kind of feel like Jacob Fatu could end up being a pawn in that whole chess match because we don't know where he's
We
coming
don't know
right
where he's
now.
coming right now.
We know he's got the relationship with Solo from the past, even though last we heard of him, he was getting kicked in the face. Um, do you think there could be anything to that?
Maybe, but I mean, with WWE, you we can sit here and throw out all kind of theories that make perfectly good sense. And like, oh man, that was a good idea. Like that's a great idea. That's compelling, right? That has us compelled. But then here comes the creative team, and they just throw some right in there. They throw a wrench in the machine, and it just like what the f was that? I mean, to be honest, who's to say Drew McIntyre don't just pop up and you know do something off the wall or something? You know what I mean? So
We haven't had somebody in a hoodie and a balaclava in a little bit. Maybe it's time to pull that trope out.
oh God, how many times they did it last year? It was
975. And I don't think I'm exaggerating.
I don't think you're exaggerating either.
Yeah. And speaking of something that kind of confuses me, and I mean nothing against Ricky Saints, but can somebody explain to me with small words and visual aids what purpose somebody with the momentum, with the star power, with with the just incredible crowd control that Trick Williams has. Can somebody explain to me why he's defending his championship against Ricky Saints at this pay-per-view? By the way, shout out to Trick Williams and Lash Legend who got married this past weekend. So, shout out to them. But make that make sense. Oh, that's right. We can't.
Right. I, I told you just before we got on this air. The direction of Trick is going absolutely nowhere where I thought it was going to go when he won that US title. I thought with Trick winning that title, it was going to be on a trajectory of possibly defending it against a Chad Gable, uh, Penta, in that aspect, Penta, I mean, even though he's the IC champion, Mello. I mean, they got legit storyline beef from
Going back
NXT
years. Going
going
back
back years. And
years.
they are, I'm not saying they're not former best friends, or I'm not saying they aren't still best friends. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're best friends outside of the storyline
Right.
WWE, but like right now, Trick has something that Mello wants. And Mello fans love Mello. I mean, like, what are they listening to when they're at these tapings or live shows or whatever the case may be? What are they listening to? Fans want Mello. Fans want Mello and Trick to run it back. And yet, instead of giving us, and me being the Saints fan that I am, instead of us getting the Saints versus the Patriots, right? You robbed that last meeting of Tom Brady versus Drew, right? They're fighting for the record books. Like they're neck and neck, 1 and 2. Instead of getting that, we get the Rams versus the Patriots. And then that game the Rams don't even get past the 50-yard line in that Super Bowl. So you're robbed
Yeah.
of an epic Super Bowl meeting
Oh,
between
you're
two.
talking that Super Bowl, that
Yeah.
awful Super
Oh,
Bowl. Yeah.
oh, trust me. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it lives in my brain that the Rams got away with a no call of obviously a blatant defensive interference call. But I'm not gonna crash out about that. I'm gonna let that go.
Nope.
Um, so we get that terrible Super Bowl. So now to Ricky's uh defense, maybe this match is great, like you pointed out to me before we got
Yeah.
on this recording. Maybe. But then on the flip side of it, what if it's horrible? Okay. Instead of getting a 5-star match from Mello and Trick, which I'm guaranteed that it will be a 5-star match because Mello has been putting on nothing but 5-star matches with that US title. So why not? And it goes back to the conversation you and I had about chemistry with somebody in the ring. They're close friends, right?
Yep.
That's just like a Sami Zayn and a our guy. I'm sorry, Kevin Owens,
Kevin
right?
Owens.
They're guaranteed to give you a great match because they know each other. They know each other's
They were
mannerisms. They
they
know
were
how
in
to
each other's weddings for crying out loud. They are closer than
exactly,
brothers. Yeah.
exactly. So like, no disrespect, Ricky Saints. Like, eventually, yes, he should be in matches like this. But
Yeah.
this man lost his first match debuting on SmackDown to, granted, Cody Rhodes, but that's not a debut you want in that type of fashion. Losing to Cody Rhodes the way you did. I mean, like it wasn't like oh man, he's gonna be. Melo lost to Cody Rhodes, but Melo put on a match where it looked like he was going to win.
Yeah.
Ricky looked like he was going to lose. It was no guarantee. Like, oh man, Ricky got a chance to beat Cody. No, 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 not at all. But even then, Cody and Ricky are best friends. They're close too. But like, I just didn't get that Ricky Saint because of the fact that you didn't let him cook in NXT that long, right? And then
Right.
on top of that, you have him beat Obafemi in NXT. And I would think, with
How
him,
quickly we forget.
yeah, how quickly we forget, but him beating Obafemi, you would think with that win, he would stay in NXT a little longer, carry the belt, maybe win it again. Kind of in the same in the realm of Trick staying in NXT as long as he did. Because I mean, we was like he should have been moved up. But you have him go win the TNA championship, kind of get more established within outside of the realm of just NXT, which was smart because now you got TNA fans, you got WWE fans, you got NXT fans, obviously. Like everybody knows Trick. So you should have did that with Ricky, but you didn't. You already pushed him up. He's kind of like in that floating area of mid card to maybe just a guy there. So, but to say I'm excited about this match, nah.
Yeah, same,
Uh,
not same,
I'm
same.
excited for I'm excited for Trick because it's another opportunity to be in the PLE of quickly developing important TLE TLE excuse me PLE. Uh, and hopefully, this is only the start. Maybe they, and you know what? And I think about it, maybe they're saving Mello and Trick for SummerSlam because them two are going to cook. So why not use it on one of your big four and just save it for SummerSlam? So it
Yeah,
could be a
put
possibility.
those. Yeah, very well, maybe give those two 20 minutes in front of a stadium full of people. I think that's money, but also give them a compelling story too.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But uh, I feel like them two together just make a compelling story, just off of them being NXT, and like Trick being Melo's protege sidekick at one point, and then Trick propelling, going way beyond what Melo was then. I mean, Melo was in there talking about I'm him, I'm him, I'm him, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden Trick is him. Like Trick is him. Trick walks in the room and everybody's whoop that Trick. While Melo, his start was kind of, you know, not to where he wanted it to be because he had to work under the Miz a little bit. So
and speaking of matches that don't make a hell of a lot of sense to me, can we talk about why Cody Rhodes is in a three-way with Gunther and Sami Zayn?
that's the quarterback window. That's the QB1. And um, Ryan, if that match kicks off United Champions, I swear, I you know, the IWC can come for me, Cody can come for me, whoever. But if you kick off United Champions again, second consecutive PLE, the undisputed champion kicking off tonight, you might well wrap that QB1 crap up. I don't want to hear it. You could walk out with a shirt say QB1. You could tat it on your other side of your neck. You could do whatever you need to, but that won't even justify the fact that you are not QB1. Roman Reigns left for 2 whole years, right? The ratings are nowhere near. when Roman Reigns appears on the show.
Right.
The energy of a show is nowhere near the same as when Roman Reigns is on the show. SmackDown isn't the show to watch anymore when Roman Reigns is not on that show. Raw is. How many times have we been complaining about Raw while Roman was on SmackDown? Have we complained about Raw since? No. Has Roman, granted, Roman opens the show, right? But that storyline carries on to finish the night, right?
Yeah.
Or potentially finish the night. Cody starts the show off. Do we see from Cody anymore in that show? Give or take 50-50. But I'm just leave this here. I'm gonna sit this on the table for him. And you point it out every time we talk about this. Trick Williams ended the show SmackDown one night. You
Yep.
remember what that segment was about?
Something about a gingerbread man, but something about a costume that you could have gotten at a party supply store.
A costume. They had a fake funeral for a costume, and the U.S. champion, a mid card champion, finished the show to the point where they had to break the fourth wall and have Sami Zayn come out and say, "You are breaking the sacred, you know, spot of finishing the show out with the gingerbread man funeral." It's a very big prestige to end a show as
Yeah.
the main event, the event enter, like the show enter, the
Mhm.
take home segment. The
Yeah.
take home segment is the most sacred segment of all because that is what you give people to think about when they leave your show. And we got that. Granted, it was a funny segment. Trick did his thug thizzle on it. I loved it. But Mr. QB won, right? That's like having the punter finish the game out. You start the game. You start the game. Throw a touchdown. Your first drive, a touchdown. Woo! And then all hell breaks loose after that.
Don't give McAfee any ideas.
Oh my God. What's their face? I don't even
Yeah.
want to go back down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't take my bet on that. Um, yeah. Yeah. No, it just, and I am Team Gunther all the way. I was Team Walter. I've just now started calling him Gunther, but it just the it's probably going to open the show Saturday. It's probably going to open the show Saturday, and that really I don't think speaks very highly of the condition of that title on SmackDown.
It don't have the same shine as once it did.
Not even close. Not even close. Well, I
It's
think that's
amazing
about
how
it. Go ahead.
I'm just sitting here thinking it's amazing how not necessarily far that title has dropped, but the aura of that particular title has kind of dropped. It's kind of in the same realm of
Drop
when Gunther
drop to the
when
floor.
Gunther had finally got the IC title and he kind of brought it back up, or like how the Miz was like, I brought the IC title back to the its prestige.
Whatever happened there?
Terrible storytelling.
Yeah. But Let's
And
not forget.
it's not even Cody's fault. It's not even Cody's fault. Like that's and I want to iterate this. Like Cody could be quarterback one, but you can't be quarterback one with a terrible play caller.
That's like being QB1 with the worst offensive coordinator in the league.
Absolutely.
QB1. Let's not forget QB1. I don't even like using that phrase with him. Um, ay, ay, ay. Well, I think before we wrap up here, um, I kind of see it going to chalk on Saturday. I kind of, with the with the king and queen predictions, I definitely see Jey Uso pulling off the win, going over. I see Io Sky going over, um, and starting the program with Reed. What say you?
I piggyback off of all of that. Um, the only the only way Oba could potentially win King of the Ring is maybe Solo costing Jay, maybe The Rock getting involved, possibly. Um, maybe Jay and Jacob gets to the boiling point of coming to fists because Jay gets tired of Jacob calling him a podcast.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, we deep in the bottom of the seventh bloodline storyline telling. So, but I hope it's a fun night. I hope it's an exciting night. I hope our predictions are true because, God forbid, Liv Morgan become Queen of the Ring as the champion. You can't go wrong with either Oba or Jay. Trick, he better retain. Like
Yeah.
he needs to. He needs to. And I just can't believe that there's not any more champions defending that belt at Night of Champions. So, like, it makes no sense.
No, I mean, let's not forget Tiffany and Jade for the Women's United States Championship, although I've already forgotten about them.
Oh, they having a match. Oh, I
Yeah.
totally forgot about it.
Yeah. No, I think that just got signed. Yeah. Tiffany and Jade for the Women's Championship. And what could be match of the night, although I doubt it, Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins in a
Ooh, the cage
cage.
match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be a banger. Um, to comment on Tiffany and Jade, I don't see Jade winning because of the fact that you hurt Charlotte and caused her to lose her opportunity at Queen of the Ring. So I believe that Charlotte's going to get some her pound of flesh and not helping and not allowing you to get the US title. That's just me. Or maybe she did get the title and then Charlotte goes after her for the US title. I don't know, but I'm still pissed off that Charlotte wasn't in the finals for the Queen of the Ring. So
Yeah. Well, we can't cry over spilled titles now, can we?
yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back next week with the recap of Night of Champions. And can't wait for y'all to join us. Um, it's been another fun episode here. You down to do it again next week?
Again next week. Oh yeah, absolutely. Fourth of July week.
All right.
Week. Well, leading up to Fourth of July. Absolutely.
Well, there you go. You can find the Wrestling Roundtable on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube. You can check us out on the social media machine. And most importantly, you can leave a review, you can comment, and you can always join us again next week. For Dominique LaRue, I'm Ryan Hall. You've been watching and listening to the Wrestling Roundtable. Until we eat again, take care.
Take care.
So long for now, and please don't let Dan Housen curse you.
You've been cursed.